Hello, Morongo Basin and listeners around the world online at Z107.7 FM.com. Here is the Z107.7 local news for Wednesday, December 6th, 2023. A collision on Old Woman Springs Road in Landers yesterday morning left 3 people injured. The CHP has announced additional enforcement in the area owing to the high number of fatal and injury collisions on this stretch of 2-lane State Route 247, also known as Old Woman Springs Roads, that runs from Yucca Valley to Lucerne Valley. The CHP reports that yesterday at around 6:45 a.m., Anna Rodriguez, a 59-year-old from Desert Hot Springs, was driving a Mini Cooper northbound on Old Woman Springs Road near Napa Road when she crossed the double yellow lines into the southbound lane of traffic. The CHP says she collided head-on with a Chevrolet traveling south in the southbound lane, driven by Chance Sistrunk, a 27-year-old from Oklahoma. Rodriguez sustained major injuries, and Sistrunk sustained moderate injuries. Christina Layden, a 27-year-old from Oklahoma, was a passenger in the Chevrolet and sustained major injuries. All people involved in the collision were transported to Desert Regional Medical Center. The crash is still under investigation. Alcohol and or drugs did not appear to have been a factor. If anyone has information pertaining to the crash, they are asked to call the Morongo Basin CHP office at 760-366-3707. After the collision, the CHP issued a statement saying that they would be increasing traffic enforcement on State Route 247 and deploying additional units. They said officers will be strictly enforcing traffic laws with an emphasis on unsafe passing and speeding on the state highway. Motorists are reminded to be patient, watch their speed, and only pass when it is lawful and safe. Several collisions on Old Woman Springs Road in the last several weeks have led to 5 deaths and countless injuries, most of which have occurred in part because of illegal passing on the 2-lane highway. California's transit agency, Caltrans, which oversees the road, is currently conducting a field investigation into its safety and signage in light of the recent collisions. A dead body found by an off-roader in Landers in June has been identified, and a suspect in his murder has been arrested. On June 25th, an off-roader found human remains while riding near Old Woman Springs Road and flagged down a sheriff's deputy from the Morongo Basin Station. The remains were believed to be related to a murder-robbery in Apple Valley, and the victim was believed to have been transported to Landers and left in the open desert. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Homicide Detail identified a suspect in the murder as Everardo Lopez Vega, a 29-year-old resident of Hesperia. He was detained by U.S. Border Patrol agents in Arizona on Monday and is expected to be extradited to San Bernardino County on suspicion of murder. The Sheriff's Department identified the victim as Omar Lopez Barraza, a 30-year-old resident of Apple Valley. The investigation is ongoing. Anyone with information about this case is asked to contact Detective Eric Ogaz, Specialized Investigations Division, at 909-890-4904. The Yucca Valley Town Council met last night to present highlights from 2023, select a new mayor, and to consider amendments to the Town Development Code. With more on this, here's Al Weatherup.
Tuesday night's Town of Yucca Valley Town Council meeting began with Mayor Rick Denizen's State of the Town presentation, in which members of the Yucca Valley High School Trojans football team were recognized for their historic season, special recognition was given to public servant retirees, and beautification and sustainability projects from the past year were highlighted. Afterward, Assemblyman Greg Wallace gave an update on California, during which he addressed concerns surrounding the protection of the western Joshua Tree, increased minimum wages, and praised California's adoption of Senate Bill 14, which increases penalties for the human trafficking of minors. Ordinance number 307 was adopted to allow non-storefront delivery-only medicinal marijuana dispensaries and the delivery of marijuana within the town of Yucca Valley, and Councilmember Robert Lombardo was nominated and selected to serve as mayor, with Councilmember Jeff Drozd selected as mayor pro tem. A public hearing was held on amending the Development Code to allow permits for temporary special events in single-family residential zoning districts, which was approved to be moved to the January 16th Town Council meeting with continued public hearing so that the staff can make structural changes to specify the parameters of minor, medium, and major events. The last item on Tuesday night's agenda was an amendment to the commercial design guidelines on branding mascots and statues, which was approved for those mascots having no effect on the environment as defined by the California Environmental Quality Act. Reporting for Z107.7, this is Elle Weatherup.
The 29 Palms Planning Commission met last night and addressed a full agenda before heading out to the holiday celebration. Online news editor Robert Hayden has the rundown.
At last night's 29 Palms Planning Commission, they recommended a development code amendment pertaining to historic preservation and hillside grading. Food trucks and food carts were also a hot topic. Application requirements were removed from the development code. Those will be handled administratively. 2 streets will be strictly off-limits to street-parked food trucks. Adobe Road and Highway 62 both have speed limits over 35 miles per hour and were deemed a safety issue for food trucks to operate on. A planned business referred to as the Oasis Car Wash is seeking an exemption to paying the cost of undergrounding the utilities required to run it. Southern California Edison quoted the business around $130,000 for the work, which the Planning Commission agreed was a large cost for a nascent business to immediately absorb. A 5-year deferment was recommended and discussed and is being sent to the Town Council. The 29 sculpture took up most of the rest of the meeting. Sitting on Donnell Hill as you approach 29 Palms, the large 2, 9, and exclamation point greet visitors to the city. However, if you get up close to the sculpture, it's in major need of repair, according to the chair of the Public Art Advisory Committee, Anna Stump. Stump and new committee member Paul Razzo presented a plan with 2 options for restoring the sculpture created by Chuck Kaplinger. The first option would be to restore the sculpture where it is and create ADA-compliant walkways in a parking lot to encourage more visitation to the public art. A second option, which was well received, was to move the art to a more public location such as Freedom Plaza. The commission agreed on restoring the art, which Stump estimated to be around $3,000 to $4,000. As exactly where the public art would relocate to is being deferred for now. For more details on last night's meeting, you can see this story on Z107.7fm.com. Reporting for Z107.7 News, this is Robert Hayden.
As the weather gets colder, the 29 Palms United Methodist Church continues to provide coats to high desert residents in need. They gave away 20 coats last week, but they still have plenty of men's, women's, and children's coats to give away. The church is open on Wednesdays from 9 a.m. to noon and is located at 6250 Mesquite Springs Road in 29 Palms, next to the high school. If you have a coat in good condition, please consider donating it to the church. They are in particular need of children's coats. The church thanks everyone who has donated coats so far and says they have helped put smiles on many faces. Yucca Valley's High Desert Water District Board of Directors meets today at 4 p.m., while down the highway in Joshua Tree, the Joshua Basin Water District's regular meeting begins promptly at 5:30 p.m. Here's reporter Mike Lipsitz with your Wednesday Water Roundup.
The focus of today's meeting at the High Desert Water District will be the election of a new board president, vice president, and secretary. Following the vote, the new officers will take the oath of office and immediately assume their new positions. Also tonight, directors will approve, accept, and file the district's 2023 Comprehensive Financial Report. Today's meeting takes place on the highway at Inca Trail. And at the Joshua Basin Water District, directors will consider public outreach, bylaws, arrearages, and employee flexible spending accounts. The meeting is at the district office on Choita Road in Joshua Tree, where the public is welcome to attend. Instructions for remote attendance of both meetings may be found with this story at Z107.7fm.com. Reporting for Z107.7 News, this is Mike Lipsitz.
Local artist Linda Schrader is debuting a new show tonight in Yucca Valley, and she'll even be giving away one of her Joshua Tree Forever sculptures. The show is hosted by the California Welcome Center and will feature Schrader's sculptures and Christmas ornaments. In the autumn, Schrader won an award for Best 3D Work at the 11th Annual Joshua Tree National Park Art Expo. Tonight's opening will also feature work from dozens of other local artists. One piece will be given away tonight as part of a raffle, and Z107.7 Morning Show co-host Cody Joseph will be doing a live broadcast from the event. The opening begins at 5 p.m. today at the California Welcome Center in Yucca Valley and runs until 7 p.m. Light refreshments will be served and admission is free. On last Friday's Z107.7 Up Close show, host Gary Daigneault spoke with Chair of the County Board of Supervisors Don Rao. Daigneault spoke with Rao about the unfortunately commonplace issue of illegal dumping here in the Morongo Basin. Rao said,
People dump for various reasons. They are not wanting to take it to the landfill. They don't want to pay the fees. They don't want to take the time out of their day. They think that they can get away with it. So we do have chronic dump sites where we can install cameras. We will go out and we clean them up. My office has a budget for cleanups. If you see a spot, you can call that number that I just gave.
If I see someone dumping illegally, what can I do? I mean, we don't want you to confront anybody. We
Take
don't
pictures. That's
take
helpful.
Pictures. If you get a license plate.
If you can get a license plate, take pictures, note the time, the date. That app that I mentioned, See Click Fix, that has a provision for reporting illegal dump sites.
You can contact Supervisor Don Rao's Joshua Tree office at 760-366-1488, and you can hear the full interview with Supervisor Rao by listening to the Up Close Show as a podcast at Z107.7fm.com or wherever you get your podcasts. And finally, the Youth Orchestra Joshua Tree will be performing a holiday concert on Friday night, featuring folk tunes, selections from Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker Suite, as well as some highlights from Charlie Brown Christmas, and concluding with favorite Christmas carols. This whimsical production features talented kids from all over the high desert, led by Debbie Clack Amador. The hour-long concert begins at 7 p.m. on Friday at the Desert Hills Presbyterian Church in Yucca Valley. Donations at the door are welcome and appreciated. That's our local news. Hear local news 7 times a day, 7 days a week at 7, 8, 9, noon, 4, 5, and 6. If you hear news happening, let us know about it. Email us at tips@z1077fm.com. Reporting for the Morongo Basin News Leader, the award-winning Z1077 Local News, I'm Jeff Harmetz.